Okay, before we flip this thing over on its side, this is what the plastic's for. Now, there we go. Okay, so there's your problem, lady. See way back there? It's twisted that belt. It's popped out of the drive pulley. It's really hard to see because the muffler's in the way back here. It's supposed to be on that. So you can't, there's no way to look in there. Okay, so I'll put you sideways. Now can you see it? And that's the only original belt on this whole machine, so I'm gonna manipulate. There's some flex in there. I'll manipulate that belt back on. It's probably due for a new belt. It's never come off before, so. And I think it's 2-3 years ago, probably 2 years ago, I rebuilt everything on this tractor. I went through everything, re-greased all the old bearings and changed a bunch of parts, and yeah. And I looked at that belt and thought, oh, it looks okay. It's been on there since, I believe it's the original belt, so I should have bought a new one. Anyway, yeah, you gotta unbolt a few parts to get that off, I think. So maybe I'll just pop it back on, see how it goes. I don't know. It's a 30-year-old tractor, so. Okay, it's back on. That took all of about a minute and a half. I popped this off over here, put the little one on in there, and we installed this one. It's been twisted overnight, so yeah, it's pretty cracked and old looking. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna try and run it, and if it pops off again, we're gonna pull that belt off, go to the bearing supply place, sells belts, and we'll buy a new gate, one of these green belts like this one here. I think this one's the green one. Anyway, they sell these high power, really good belts, and it looks like that chain needs a bit of oil, so we'll oil that chain while we have it up like this. I think we're back in business, so for now. Look at how tiny that little drive belt is. It's like 1.5 inches, 1.75 inches maybe in diameter, and it drives the transmission. So my wife told me last night, it won't go forward, it won't go back. I was in trouble. So yeah, needs a good pressure washing. It's not gonna get it. Alright, I managed to get some oil up the chain, but you know, there's another little minor problem with this. It's missing a part, which was it was a problem in the past. There's supposed to be 4 bolts on this rear. So supposed to be 4 bolts on that rear end. There's a differential in there, a little tiny differential. One of the bolts has fallen out. I think that's one of the originals. I got some grade 8 threaded rod. You can buy that, because I think I was missing a couple of bolts, or they stripped or something, and I just put grade 5 bolts in, and they broke within a couple of months. So there's enough torque on this that these bolts have to be grade 8. So you can buy a grade 8 threaded rod, which that's what I did, because they're so long. They're about 4 inches long, and then you just make your own bolts, you know. And you can just use regular grade 5 nuts. I don't think there's any difference really. You know, the torque on this is enough to break these little, I don't know why they're not 3/8 or something bigger. And I got electrical tape around there to seal that up. I put a whole bunch of new grease in there when I took that apart. That's a long time ago. I added these grease zerts. No grease zerts in there. Excuse me. When I originally, so there's a bearing in there that needs grease, and up here's the same thing. Why they're not made? It's got grease zerts all over this thing. There's one in there. It's your center pivot point. There's another one up in here somewhere. There it is. So why not have you know, grease zerks back here. So I think these are original mid-80s 35-year-old tires. I just put tubes in them and they keep going. So I'm gonna give that oil a chance to soak in a little bit before I flip it back up. The other side of the chain is still dry and rusty, so I gotta do the other side. I made a steering cable for that as well. This old tractor it would be great for a little small lot, but having 20 acres is not really the right size machine for this place. But everything else we have right now is broken, so yeah. I put new blades on I think last year or year before. Anyway, it looks like they need to be sharpened. They won't be getting it today. Yep. So I'm gonna get the grease gun. We're gonna grease this up. It hasn't been done yet this year. Alright guys, I flipped it up the wrong way. Usually I flip it so the carburetor is at the top and the exhaust and intake are both on the same side of the block. But I did it with the gas tank at the top for whatever reason. It's up on the hill, so I thought I'd flip it up the hill rather than down the hill. And I tell you, this thing's been smoking for 10 minutes like a early 1980s disco bar. It's smoking so bad I could, you know, and it's blowing towards the house. I could barely see the house. So I know mosquitoes though. I might do this more often. Yeah. Don't remind me not to do that again. I already know about this issue because I think I've done that mistake like a long time ago. But I think a bunch of oil ran up into the carburetor and both right into the exhaust. So probably the muffler's full of oil, but it's clearing up there now, believe it or not. And yeah, the belt's not jumping off with me sitting on there, which I'm not really the right size person for this machine. You need someone with about 100 pounds, not 210. Okay, 220. Alright, 230 pounds is too much for it. But if you're on level ground, you can kind of get away with it, but the back tires spin a lot, go up a hill or even down a hill. So, yeah. Oh, another thing fixed. See that front fender? It's a bench seat on a picnic table. Yeah, it's kind of hard on the fiberglass. That happened a long time ago. Okay, I oiled up the pivot points on the seat. This Nordic engages, and then when you get off the seat, it's supposed to disengage, and it wasn't really working. The last year it stopped working, and you know, I won't say who, but someone drives this, and they tend to leave it running on the driveway with the stone dust flying around and raising dust like crazy with the blades on. So I've got that kind of taken care of. I oiled every pivot point on it. The mower deck got rebuilt on this the year after I bought it. I bought it in '93, I think in September. And by the end of '94, I'm talking 1994, I built this new mower deck because I think that was the main reason why the previous owners, probably the first owner, traded it in for a new one. Is the grass was just shooting right up in the air out of these holes in this, and there was really no way to fix it. And the cost of a new mower deck, I don't even know if you could get one back then. It was probably more than the tractor was worth. So I took an old oil drum and one of those little thin cutting discs, and I just cut out the shape I wanted. And I don't think I even had a MIG welder at that time. So this was all welded, this deck, with a stick welder, an arc welder, which is... So I think, yeah, I don't think I have much left to do on this. I did find out that the belt jumping off actually was a branch, got up underneath there somehow, got up in that area. And I don't know how it didn't take the PTO belt off, but it jumped. Transmission belt is way up at the top. I've never ever had one issue with that transmission belt. So I managed to jump it off that little tiny pulley on the crankshaft off the engine. And yeah, my wife came in and said, it won't move forward, it won't move backwards. She was kind of annoyed because it had been breaking down a lot there the last couple of years. Chewing up belts and pulleys, you know, there was all kinds of little things that were going wrong with it. Steering cable broke, I made a new one. This is what's really the death of these machines, is that transmission shifter cable, which is right there, you can see it. I don't know how many tractors in the world, lawn tractors like this, have this kind of cable, because it pivots in the middle. You have to have some crazy shifter. Interesting. It's a little piece of history, and I'm going to keep it going as long as I can. As long as that motor hangs in there, and any other parts for this I can try and either fabricate myself or try and rig something up. It'd be neat if this was hydrostatic drive. It's the only thing. It's got a manual 5-speed transmission. You know, that 5th speed, I don't think it's ever been, might have been put in there once or twice, but the motor doesn't really have enough power to drive it at 5. Maybe downhill on pavement with one foot on the ground, pushing along like a Flintstones car. But you really got to cut grass in either 1 or 2. You can't even cut in 3. So the hydrostatic would be great. If you're in thick grass, you can slow down without changing gears, and you can come to a full stop, or you can even, well, backing up and forward. That's what you do with any lawnmower. So this is old, but I'm going to say the newer models, they're all old models, but the models that came after this one came with a hydrostatic option, I think. So didn't take long before Stiga or Canadiana, someone figured out that, you know, the mechanical transmission was a thing of the past. So okay, I've been ranting on too long now. Yeah, future videos you might see me making a new mower deck. The plan is maybe over the winter. It's not hard to make. It's pretty simple, actually. It wouldn't take that long to do. So thanks for watching. Leave a comment, subscribe. Take care.